What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another edition of Nani, episode we discuss the anime. And we're currently watching. Let me turn this on right now. Fuck. Just a little better. There we go. Sorry. Welcome back to another edition of Nani, episode we discuss the anime that we're currently watching. Today we're going to be talking about JJK episode 9, season 3 of the Call Games, where we actually get the conclusion fight of. Get the conclusion fight, but the fight of between Yuji, Higurama. Last episode, we see Higurama activating his domain expansion, death penalty. Now, first we saw, Yuji just standing there, but in this episode, we're seeing, Yuji running up to Higurama to stop the his domain expansion, which he was too late. And so, this domain expansion, death penalty, acts of violence are prohibited. And so, here's the thing. Yuji is Yuji against Higurama in a court with the, Shikigami as the judge. But what's funny is that when Yuji sees the badge on his on Higurama's suit, since he's a lawyer, he's like, wait, he's a lawyer, but he's not as a prosecutor. So yes, Higurama was a lawyer, defense lawyer, but now in this domain expansion, he is a prosecutor, so he's pretty much, the opposite of what he does in his professional job. And so what's pretty cool is that, it was explained that domain expansion used to have, like, the lack of, correct me if I'm wrong, like, used to have the lack of kill in, like, the older days of domain expansion. You used to have a guaranteed hit. So, nowadays, domain expansions, people have, an instant kill move in a way. So with this domain expansion, Higurama is still giving, his victim a chance, to save themselves. And in this domain expansion death penalty, you realize that I said this, repeated this in the last episode, so I'm just gonna refresh my memory. Is that, listen, you are against Higurama. He revenge you, something that you did, in the past, and you have to prove yourself innocent. If you're innocent, the domain expansion is over, right? You're free to go. But if he loses, Higurama didn't really explain what happened. So the case is, Yuji pretty much going to this underage convenience store or whatever, like something in Vegas, whatever, like that, something Vegas. And so he's like, oh man, what I do? So let me make him a lie and see, I had to go through the poop, you know what I'm saying? But turns out that was a lie, and the Shikigami, who was the judgment, says guilty. And so they're back, not back in the real world. They're already in the real world, but it's like the domain expansion is over. But little did you know, since he was guilty, Yuji lost his cursed energy. So that's one part of, Higurama's, domain expansion, where it's like, if you're guilty, one of two things happen. You're guilty, you lose your cursed energy. And right there, then the fight choreography between Higurama and Yuji was beautiful. And here's the thing, I always wanted an anime, right? Even if you don't have your powers, can you still throw them hands? Yuji was still able to throw his hands right there. But even though he can still throw his hands, he was still, outmatched. Because I said, Higurama was able to get his cursed energy and his domain expansion like in the same day. Like, Higurama was a quick study of, learning about his cursed energy. And I was saying this, so I'm like, okay, Higurama, yes, he has the domain expansion, but can this guy fight? And simply for me even thinking about that, because clearly Higurama showed that he can fight. Like I said, this fight animation, this fight choreography was amazing. Like, Higurama was able to use this gavel, like, anime wants, throw multiple gavels at you, can alter its size, can, make it appear, disappear, reappear right there. Like, it was just amazing. Hell, there's one part where Yuji had to crawl like backwards in a way to get away from the gavel. Like, it was crazy. But I said that animation was just so smooth, and honestly, the lighting as well too just made the setting even so much better. But like I said, don't make it for thinking to myself, okay, can you hear my fight? Because I said, he has his curse energy, he has his curse technique, the domain expansion, but can he fight? Yeah, he can fight. Like I said, he is a quick learner. But yeah, that was just great. Like, think about this too. Yes, Higurama was, was in a way using his powers per se, but like it was like in a way just a fight where where it's like no magical powers were involved. It was like straight hands, mainly for Yuji, I guess. But yeah, like I said, that fight was just choreographed beautiful. But despite all that, without the curse energy, this was a tough fight for Yuji. And he already acknowledged, this guy is something he won't stay down. He's like, a thought that won't be defeated or whatever like that. And so he does it with Scavel, and on Yuji, he was getting ready to die. He's like, what I do, what I do, what I do, what I do. Think about it in the court. Okay, I want a retrial. Yes, they get a retrial. Because like I said, you're not a man that you're guilty right there. So you can have a retrial, which similar to how we have how it happened in the last episode. And so they do, the real trial, and it was about the Shibuya arc. It says, Yuji killed all these people in Shibuya. How do you plead? Yes, I did it. I guilty. I killed everybody. And the judgment said guilty. Confiscation. And this is where, Kirigara gets his execution. It was very scary how, that judgment said confiscation with the whole blood coming out of his eyes. It was scary. But yes, now Higurama gets this, gets the executioner sword, where you use that sword on somebody, you're dead. Dead, just like that. But as he's getting ready, to use that sword on Yuji, he was saying to himself, like, why did you admit it? Why did you admit it? You were not guilty. Like, I'm surprised. Yes, even though Judgment will learn everything about you, he still knew that I was Sukuna. It wasn't really Yuji, but it was Sukuna. But, Yuji admits it because, at the end of the day, that was my body. Yes, that was Sukuna that killed everybody, but, like, that was my body at the end of the day. So it looked like me, but it was me. But technically speaking, yeah, it was me because it was my body in a way. But, the fact that, Higurama was getting ready to kill him, but decided not to. Yuji admitted to the guilt, even though he didn't do that. It shows like a glimmer of hope for of humanity. Because now, you guys gotta remember, Higurama was was a defense lawyer, helping the weak people in this current system. And now every time people got screwed over, it changed them. Yuji is, that last glimmer of hope where it's like, dang, you know what? Maybe society can change, And the fact that it said you took guilt of something that you did not do, it was a beautiful thing. Even the music, actually, I gotta look to see what that music is. I gotta see what that song is called. That was just the perfect setting to that moment right there. Like, I love that. And so, shout out Higurama for sparing Yuji's life for that, because I mean, it's like, dang man, like I'm guess I'm back to my regular self, because yeah, he even said to him, you ever kill somebody that pissed you off right after that? It's like, it sucks, right? It feels terrible. And so yeah, man, Higurama, saving Yuji, because like I said, Higurama could have killed Yuji. It would have been over, but he had to change his heart. And so he does give his points to Yuji, and even said, make a new rule: make points be transferred over to another player. And Yuji did ask him, hey, you want to work with us? We could help you. It's like, yeah, but it might be more mad because I'm still, killing people. He says, I might turn myself in, so I'll see you later. So yeah, man, Higurama's a very cool character. I like him. Like I said, a lot of people were saying, Higurama's great, Higurama's great, and I gotta agree, man. Like, Higurama was a really cool character, man. Like I said, but before his corrupted self, he was all about helping people. And just on the internet, I agree. He reminds me of Nani. Like, Higurama and Nani meeting, that would be great to see. Then again, I mean, if Higurama is not in his broken form, at least, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, Higurama and Nani together, man, that would have been that would have been really cool, guys, because they both care about people. They both, want the best for people. They care about, justice. helping the weak and everything, you know. And so, yeah, man, I feel as though I don't know if they're gonna say, you know, I don't know if usually they'll be like, you know what, he brings you memories of Nani. I'm not quite sure, but nonetheless, though, Higurama was a real cool character. I'm sure we're gonna see him again. I can't wait to see him again. Would I cosplay some? Maybe. I feel so, but I would need like a Shikigami around me though. That'd be really cool. But yeah, man, good episode, man. I really, really enjoyed it. I said the animation. Like I said, I was not expecting a fight in this episode. I mean, yeah, they're probably like, I was not, you know, expecting the animation to be like that. I was not. And like I said, Higurama with his quick learning, man, it was great, man. I love the fight, man. It was great to see. But you know, next episode we're gonna have Megami against Reggie, and my cousin told me that, yo, this is gonna be a good fight. I said they said the Call of Games is like one of the best fights in the whole Jujutsu Kaisen series. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to it. But as always, folks, let me know what you think about this episode. Like the video, it helps the algorithm a lot. Subscribe and part of this family. Be sure to follow me on social media accounts in the description box below. And always remember what JJK said, everybody. There is no such thing as a life better than yours. Have a good night, everybody. Take care.